Yo, what's up guys, hope you're all doing great. I have been playing some Jak and Daxter because you might not be aware of this, but this game now has an unofficial PC port, but a PC port nonetheless. So you will find all the common options you usually find in PC games like resolution, VSync, anisotropic filtering among other stuff, including some new quality of life features like being able to skip cutscenes. This is all possible thanks to the OpenGoal project, which is porting the Jak trilogy to PC. Right now only Jak and Daxter is complete, the other ones are still going to take a while, although Jak 2 is playable but in a beta stage at this point. Also, are they gonna do Jak X? I don't know, it doesn't show up on the sidebar, but it's a great fucking game. Either way, even though the first game is pretty different from the others, it's a lot more simple in a way, but very well made, and it's still very fun to play. The story starts with two young boys getting in a boat and sailing towards Misty Island. The sage of their village told them not to go, for it is a dark place. But you already know how it is, boys will be boys. Next thing you know, they are uncovering dark plots, sneaking around enemy territory, finding precursor relics and pits of dark eco. But eventually they do get spotted and ambushed by a giant lurker. So Jak takes the relic and throws it at the enemy, causing it to explode, which sends him flying backwards, hitting Daxter, making him fall into the pit of dark eco, and that's basically how Daxter became, you know, the Daxter most people know.
What?
And all things considered, I guess he took it pretty well.
Okay. I'm fine.
After that whole ordeal, we go back to the village and we talk to the Green Sage about this. Meanwhile, we also get introduced to his sexy-ass daughter. Kira is an engineer and she has a crush on Jak. But anyway, Samus can't help Daxter because Dark Eco is just kind of fucked up.
What?
And maybe we should have just fucking listened when he told us not to go to Misty Island. But you know, it's a little too late for that, and this man is regretting all of his life choices right now. And so finding a way to cure Daxter is our initial drive for the story, although it does get a bit more complex than that later on. Samus can't do it, but he knows a guy who might.
There's only one person who has studied Dark Eco long enough to have a chance at returning you to your previous form. Gal Acheron, the Sage. But he lives far to the north. Far to the north. Nobody has spoken to him in ages.
But if anyone can help, it's him. So we do a little tutorial to get acquainted with the game, disguise has training for the journey ahead, and here is where you learn all the movement basics and all about this game's collectibles, which are basically the entire point of the game. Jak and Daxter is a collection-based action-adventure platformer, and everything you do in this game is with the intent of getting your hands on some collectibles. You will be gathering some precursor orbs, scout flies, and most importantly, power cells. And I mean, I say most importantly, but whenever you collect all 7 scout flies in an area, you also get a power cell. And the precursor orbs are mainly used to trade with other villagers or the oracles for power cells. So you wanna collect everything because everything leads to a power cell in one way or another. And that's basically the game. It's a power cell collecting simulator and it's a lot of fun. This game at a core level operates kinda like a Spyro game, which I know it might sound weird, but it's like you have many hub worlds, and from those hub worlds you go into different levels, although in a more like open world type of way. Like, you don't just take a portal and go to the level, you know what I mean? But that's kinda how it works. You have a lot of different areas and they're all pretty different from one another. The platforming and the movement is incredibly fluid for a PS2 game. Those animators at Naughty Dog knew what they were doing. There are also various power-ups you can get which will also make you interact differently with the environment. Red Eco makes you do more damage, which is pretty standard, but Yellow Eco lets you shoot fireballs from your punch attacks, and you can also manually aim them, which is something they make you do later on in the swamp level to create like a minigame that's basically a turret section. Blue Eco can magnetize collectibles to you and makes you faster, and lets you activate certain things on the map that were lacking the power to function, like old precursor doors, elevators, jump pads. There are also a couple of bosses in this game which aren't too difficult. I mean, this is the first boss, and if you stay outside of this circle, there's literally nothing she can do to you. She has some minions with spikes that chase you, but they will retract their spikes after a while, so you can hit them, and the timing, I mean, again, just stay outside the circle and this boss can't do anything. So you could argue that the first boss is kinda broken in a way, but the other ones are pretty cool and they do get a little harder. Also, it's important to note that in this game you won't get any health upgrades, so you will always die in 3 hits. That will be the health you start and end the game with. And speaking of ending the game, once you make your way through the canyons, visit the Rock Village, who is currently under siege. These villages are all supposed to have a sage of their own, but they're all mysteriously missing for some reason. So we keep exploring, talking to NPCs, and we try to get to the bottom of what the hell is going on.
You've got to rescue my father before it's too late.
So throughout this journey, we're gonna be exploring snowy mountaintops, an underwater precursor city, a volcano, a cave full of creepy crawlies which you have to shoot down, amongst many other areas. You will find quite a bit of variety in your objectives, goals, and general ways in which you find power cells. Some might not be very apparent at first, and there is a lot of hidden stuff in this game which makes exploration feel rewarding. Ticking the checklist for every single level was honestly pretty satisfying. The hover bike sections feel pretty good as well. They are fun and the handling is nice. You will also be doing a lot of different things on top of this bike, from mowing the lawn to time trials and the classic canyon runs where you gotta keep an eye on your temperature.
Hit 500 degrees and it's over.
Now, the Float though is basically just platforming but with bigger jumps, but it is still nice and his sections are usually rather short. And when you finally get to the Citadel, which is the final area, you get to fight a giant precursor mech, which actually killed me more times than I'd like to admit. And then you're faced with this giant gate, which requires 100 power cells to activate. So if you don't have them, then that's your endgame. You better go collect some power cells. But because I'm a fucking G, by the time I got here, I already had 101 power cells, which are all the power cells in the game. Now, I've been avoiding story spoilers, even though this isn't exactly a story spoiler, but I'm gonna tell you what's on the other side of that gate. Because when I beat this for the first time on my PS2, bro, I was kinda pissed, not gonna lie. I love the Jak series, and so I remember, like, when I was a kid, I was trying to get 100 power cells to open this thing up. Like, I really wanted to know what the hell was behind that gate.
Wow! What is it? It's so beautiful.
By the precursors.
And when you do, they just kick you to the main menu. And I was like, wow, really, like everybody's just looking at that shit like, wow, it's so beautiful, and then boom. But like I was definitely expecting like a final cutscene or something, or like I don't know, man, just something. I was like, nah, like there has to be something else. Like, what do you mean? But anyway, so considering this is the only game so far that is complete, I gotta say this felt great. I had no issues, no crashes, no nothing. The game was smooth, it looked better than ever, and I can't wait for Jak 2. And then eventually Jak 3, which is my favorite of the series. Anyway, if you're looking for some sick-ass merch, I got a shop, link in the description. Check it out, you might find something you like. And of course, I'm also gonna leave a link to the OpenGoal project in case you wanna check out these guys' amazing work. It was super fun to go through Jak and Daxter again, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. See you next time. Peace.